Alright, I'm going to start by taking one of my cords and attaching it using a lark's head to my dowel. And then I'm going to use the cord on the left as my filler cord, and I'm going to tie a double half hitch going to the right, and then using that cord that I just used as my filler cord, I'm going to attach it on, again using a lark's head, but this time with just a single cord. So I put it over the top and then pull it through to the left, and then I'm going to go this time behind and pull it through that loop. Right, so that's how you get it to look like you just made a lark's head over on the right hand side. So now it looks like we have two lark's head knots. I'm going to take my next cord and I'm going to attach it on the left using a lark's head, and start with the cord on the left as a filler cord, and this time you're going to make 3 double half hitch working to the right. Again, I'm going to go over the top, pull through to the left. The second time I go behind the dowel and pull through that loop. Just straighten those out. Okay, take your next cord, again starting to the left. The far left cord, I'm going to tie double half hitch, working my way across. Now you can tell there's kind of a gap here, so I'm going to add in a short piece of cord. So I'm going to add it to my filler cord using actually a reverse lark's head to fill in that space, and then I'm just going to go to the next one. And attach on the right, over, pull through to the left, and then behind and through to the left. And we're going to do one more cord here. Okay, far left cord and a row of double half hitch. this next part, I'm going to take my cord and I'm just going to attach it on one end using the same method that I was using on the right to get the lark's head look. So I draped it over one time. I'm going to go to cross it in the front and then go behind and pull through. Right, so it looks like I did a lark's head there. I suppose actually you could do a lark's head there. I don't know why I didn't. Okay, now I'm gonna put beads on here, and to put the beads on, I use this tool. It just looks like this. It's got these thin wires on it. So I'm gonna put a couple beads on there first. I'm using pretty large beads here. Okay, I'll do 2 at a time. And I put the cord through. You can tape the ends of your cord and feed them through that way if you'd like. Once I have my 5 beads on, I'm going to make sure they're not too tight on there. I'm going to attach over here. You can make adjustments to the size of the beads if you want. I used pretty large beads and I can fit about 5. At the end, I'm gonna clean up all of these ends and these pieces hanging down. So I'll show you what I do with those at the end. But for now, I'm just gonna tighten that into place and then I'm gonna move on to the next step. All right, for this next section, I'm using 2 cords here. And when I attach these cords using the lark's head knots, I'm going to attach them unevenly so that my middle cord, which is going to be my filler cord, is much shorter than my outside cord, which is going to be my working cord. So when I attach this, I'm making a lark's head. You can't really tell how long it is from this angle, but the middle cord is hanging down probably about 18 inches. And the longer cord on the right is probably about 3 times that long. I'm going to do the same thing with my second one. The middle cord is going to hang down about 18 inches and the outside cord is going to be much longer than that. And so to judge, if you're starting out to try to make some of your own projects, what I do is these middle cords need to be able to reach over to here on the right and wrap around there. So I figured about that long. And then my outside cords are going to have to be about 3 times the length of that. I'm just adjusting this a little. All right, and I'm going to start making some half square knots. Half square knots is how you get a spiral. So to do my half square knot, I'm going to start with my cord on my left and make the 4. The cord on the right goes over the top and then behind and pull it through. And I'm going to do that all the way across. 4 on the left, the cord on the right goes over the top, behind and through. This will start spinning to the right. right, so I finished my spiral and I'm ready to attach it over to the right. So to do this, I do it a little bit differently because I'm dealing with 4 cords and I want it to look like I finished with 2 lark's heads over here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the 2 on the left, I'm gonna drape them both over the top. The one that's on the right should be your longer one, your working cord, and you're just gonna wrap it around, and then you will have this cord in the back, and I'm just gonna tie them together in the back so that you can't see them. It's a little tricky here. Okay, so I'm just tying those 2 cords off. And then I'm gonna do the same thing with the other pair. Drape them over the top. All right, the one on the right, I'm going to feed through here. And then I still have, okay. All right, so I pull them tight. I still have the one in the middle that really just draped over the top, but now I'm gonna tie those 2 together in the back. So again, when we get to the end, I will show you how to clean all this up so it looks nice and tidy. Okay, so you can start to see what it's going to look like after I trim all that. So for the next step, I'm again going to attach my 2 cords unevenly, but this time my filler cord in the middle is going to be about 2.5 feet, and the remainder of my cord is going to be on the outside. So the first one that I'm attaching, my shorter cord is here on the left, and my longer cord is on the right. And the second one that I attach, my shorter cord, again, the middle part is about 2.5 feet, so 30 inches, and the remainder is on the outside, the longer cord. So again, shorter cords go in the middle, longer cords go on the outside. All right, so we're gonna create a simple chain here, and I'm gonna start with my 3rd cord, and I'm gonna work towards the left, making 2 double half hitch. And then I'm going to take what's currently my 3rd cord and make a double half hitch on the right. And then I'm going to go back towards the center. Going to the right. And I'm going to keep doing the left over right. right, I'm gonna stop the video here and I'm gonna just keep working all the way until this is long enough to meet on that side. All right, I made this chain long enough to meet on the right hand side, and I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 chains. So I already attached one of the groups of 2 here. I'll just remind you how I did it the same way over here. So I'm taking these 2 cords. One of them is short, it's the middle cord, and then one of them is the longer cord from the outside. And I'm folding them over the top. The outside one is going to wrap around the front and then go through the middle. Again, we want to make it look like we attached with lark's head over here, so it looks the same as over here. And once I've done that, then I'm just going to tie these 2 cords in the back so that you can't see them. So this is what it's looking like so far, and we can just straighten that out. All right, so again, we are going to clean all this up when we get to the end, but we're at this point. So now we're going to do one more layer around the outside. All right, for the next one, we're going to start with a single cord. We're going to attach it over on the left using a lark's head, but we really just want one part to be long and just a short part over here that we're going to trim anyway. So we need this to go all the way across and to the right. We're going to attach it again by going over the top, across the front, behind, and then through. And you want it to be running right along the edge of here, so I'm just going to tighten it up a little bit. And then we can make adjustments to that after we get our next couple pieces on. All right, so you're going to attach your next 32 cords along here. I'm just going to show you 8 at a time. All right, so to that outer cord, I have attached 8 cords using lark's head knots onto that one cord. So I'm going to start making that outside petals. So I leave out these 2 cords on the outside of each side, and I'm going to start with cords 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm going to make a square knot. Your first row will have 3 square knots. Second row, you're going to leave out the 2 on the left, and you're going to make 2 square knots. And the next group of 4, 2 square knots, or a square knot. More. So in the middle, you're going to make 1 more square knot. All right, now I'm going to start with the second cord from the left, and I'm going to make a row of double half hitch, working to the right. row of double half hitch working towards the left. This one, so this was my other filler cord. I'm gonna do the right side over the left side here. Okay, now you're gonna take the far left one, another row of double half hitch. Cords are getting short here. Okay. Far right one. One more row of double half hitch. So that is how I make one of the petals, and I'm gonna make a total of 4. So I'm gonna pause the video here and come back when I've made the other 3. All right, I finished my 4 triangle shapes there, and now I'm just gonna tighten up this cord so that it lays nicely. And once we hang this against a wall, then they should all lay flat, but it looks pretty good. And I'm going to tighten up this side a little bit. Okay. Right, and then I'm going to flip it over and clean up the back. All right, here's the back of my piece, and you can see I have a bit of a mess here. So I'm gonna start tightening some things up. And these pieces over here are where I tied my lark's head knots that was on the right over there. So I'm just gonna make sure, first of all, that those are tied tight before I cut them. And after I trim all these, I will go through with some fabric glue and make sure everything is tight. Now this one is from those triangle shapes on the outside, and it's not attached to anything, so I'm gonna tie it to this one so that it doesn't let loose before I trim everything. Okay. Just want to make sure you have everything nice and tight. Okay, I've got one more here before I trim this. I've got this, which my beads are attached to. That is pretty short, but I'm gonna try to tie it onto this one. Okay, on this side, I don't have anything to attach that to. Just making sure it's tight, and then I'm just gonna tie a knot there. And again, I will glue that to make sure it does not come undone after I have that knot tied. Hold on. So I'm going to make sure I put a piece of glue or dab of glue right there, and I'm going to tie these two off. And trim. All right. Okay, so I'm just going to start tying these together and see what I end up with. And I've got one more here, so I'm just going to reuse that cord. All right, this is the glue that I usually use. It's called Fabric Fusion, and I just go along and make sure I put a little bit along each of these knots to make sure that they don't come undone. And then if you need to, you can come back and trim a little closer. I usually wait till the glue dries. All right, I'm back to the front again, and I've kind of straightened things out. What I'm gonna do is go along and I'm gonna trim all of these to about 1.5 inches length. Normally I would actually take this down and do it on a flat surface, but I'll do it on here for now. So I'm just, again, trimming all of these. And then after I do that, I use painter's tape. I will comb these out and use painter's tape to get a nice clean line. All right, after I finished combing, I went and took some 1-inch painter's tape and I taped along the fringe here, and then I'm just gonna cut along the line from the painter's tape. Again, I normally would do this on a flat surface, so I would say take your work down, lay it flat so you can get these pieces all nice and flat, but for the video I'm leaving it up here. I want to accidentally cut those ones. Once I've done that, then I just keep reusing that same tape because now it's got the shape. So I take that off and I move it to the next chunk. And after you've done that, you can stiffen those if you'd like, or you can leave them a little bit shaggy. That's up to you, however you like it.